All right, some breaking news over at Dawg Post. Trevor Etienne, the new transfer running back from Florida, has been arrested on several charges. The biggest one is a DUI, reckless charge, uh, that he bonded out at 5:27 a.m. in the morning. Uh, I don't. There's really not much to talk about here beyond the fact that I wanted to pass it along. I don't know. I don't know why this is so difficult, particularly in today's age where you have Ubers and you have obviously you're in the world of NIL where you can just pay someone to come pick you up. I mean, it's a lack of judgment at minimum and lack of awareness in addition. I mean, we're not that far removed from four people in the program, actually more five people in the program being involved in a fatality with drinking involved. We're 14 months from that, I think it is. So ETN was not around during that, and I don't know what the punishment will be or should be. I mean, that's not necessarily my call. That's Kirby's. We won't get Kirby until Tuesday. And Georgia had a scrimmage on Saturday. At least they were scheduled to. And there's no reason for this to be happening. And anyone who's acting like it's not serious is completely, you know, not living in reality. You cannot drink and drive. You just can't do it. And there's just no excuse for it today. I don't know that there was an excuse for it in the 70s and 80s, but now that you have cell phones, you can call someone or text someone immediately. You can use Gant and get in touch with Gant over at Georgia. You can get an Uber, a Lyft. You can just not drive. There's a lot of stuff that you can do to avoid this situation, which looks really bad on the program, frankly, and you're really more yourself than anybody else gets spliced. The first thing that's going to be talked about now on Tuesday, and anyway, some reporting from the Athens Banner Herald. Mark Weiser, ETN was charged with DUI, alcohol, less safe, reckless, failure to maintain lane, improper driving on the road, and affixing materials that reduce the visibility of windshields and windows. That last one seems like just kind of throw stuff on just to kind of tack everything on while you can. But this is not the police's fault. They're enforcing the laws, y'all. It's just what it is. I mean, you just should not be doing this. Period. There's nothing more to say, and I don't know what this means for the future. If he gets suspended for the first game, which I don't know what will happen. I don't think that's out of the question. I don't think it's a certainty either. Then you're starting to talk about now you're got one fewer running back to go with, and Paul and the two Robinsons are going to have to be ready to roll. But, it doesn't matter. That something happened a year ago, and ETN wasn't here for that is irrelevant to today. We live in a space here where, this sort of stuff is just not, something you should be doing. Period. And everybody who's in college football is old enough to know that. And I don't really know what else to say about it. I think that's a really bad look for a guy who has got a lot going for him coming into this season. A lot. Now, is it the end of his career or anything like that? No. But it's just a foolish mistake that could have been prevented, and it will be another. So this is the other thing is, now this becomes another narrative, another question. A season ago, there was a real speeding problem. And, I worry that the football players feel like they're invincible. And if last year didn't prove that is not the case, I don't know what will. I mean, I fully remember being 18, 19, and 20 years old and thinking that nothing can go wrong. But it just takes one mistake for someone to make a life-changing error and affect others too. So, at minimum, really bad judgment. So, I don't know what Georgia will do on this front. They've got they've been through 6 spring practices already, which means you're not quite halfway through. I don't know if Kirby almost never announces punishments anymore. I mean, out to through the media or to the public, which is his prerogative. But it's his program and all that. I would say this though: if I'm Jerry Moorhead and Josh Brooks, or if I'm Jerry Moorhead, I would make sure that the public knows that I'm not okay with this continuing at Georgia. I say continuing. That might not be the best word to use it, but um, you know, there's a public relations problem as it relates to driving right now at Georgia, and you know that's just what it is. Because someone else will get some sort of moving violation between now and the season. People speed, and so now something that's a speeding ticket now will become news because of all this other stuff, and it just is. It's like exercise judgment. Exercise judgment and use the resources you have. I do not know Trevor Etienne's situation as it relates to money or NIL deals or anything like that, but my suspicion is that he could figure out how to use an Uber. That's my guess. And if he can't, then I would think that he could use his phone to get someone to get him an Uber or to get someone to come get him. That's what I would imagine. Now, I don't know his situation. Maybe he doesn't have a phone. Maybe he doesn't have an NIL deal or just, like $30 to get home. I don't know. But, Carson Beck is one text away. Same thing with, whoever else is out there. I mean, he was on the Players Lounge or whatever it's called with Tate Ratledge. Surely that, they know one another and you could have help. A lot of the time, I remember leaving parties at Coker, a very small school. And, a lot of people there played sports. And when parties were busted, if you want to call it that, people knew to check whether you were on their team or not. They knew to say, "Do you have a ride home? Who is not drinking? Who is your ride home?" And for us, whenever someone at Coker got in trouble, it was never front page news. When someone gets in front, it's not front page at Georgia. It's all over the internet. It's on ESPN. It's a different time. It's a different world. This isn't Mike Bobo going downtown in the 90s. That we're way past that here. And I just think it's something he can learn from and so forth. But there's a lot of resources at Georgia, and I also think too. I mean, I think the folks at Georgia have to understand they have a public relations problem about driving, and dismissing it like kids will be kids. You can't really say that anymore. Not at Georgia. You can say that maybe at other schools, but you cannot say that right now at Georgia. It's not reality based. There's a real problem that they're going to have to address. I mean, I'm assuming they have been addressing it. I don't know. They don't let us in on these things. So, but this can't continue. And this has gone on too many times. Georgia needs a quiet off season, just sort of landing the plane into a big game to start the season, and then a bigger game 3 games after that. And these distractions and these unnecessary mistakes and user error, you have to be dependable, and you got to be dependable. I don't know if someone can really be dependable on the field if they're not dependable off the field. If you can be disciplined on the field, which Georgia is one of the most disciplined football teams and programs in the country, all you have to do is watch them play. If you can be disciplined on the field, you can be disciplined off the field too. What I mean to say is you can make the right decisions off the field as well. There is a world where you can do both. It's just that's a lot of people disagree with me about that. They think, oh, well, no, you're making excuses for the kids. That's not how this should be. You can be disciplined on and off. And I will tell you, that incident a year ago nearly took all 5 people's lives. I mean, I can't speak to if it nearly took Jalen Carter's life, but it nearly ruined his career. So this is not some, boys will be boys things. And boys will be boys. That we shouldn't be talking about that with DUIs and driving.